So our section 2.2 is coordinate geometry, circles and other equation. Okay, and the very first topic that we will cover in this section is finding the distance between any 2 points. So we are given any 2 points and we need to find how far they are from each other. We need to find the distance between those 2 points. Okay, so let's take, we have a 2 points. So let's consider we have a point P, okay, and we have a point Q, and we are looking at the distance between these 2 points. So this is the distance between these 2 points. Let's call this is distance is D. Let's consider the coordinate of point P is x1, y1. So we have a x1, y1 as a coordinate for our first point P, okay, and Q is the second point and it has a coordinate x2, y2. Okay, x2, y2 is the coordinate for second point. So if you are given a 2 point, then we can find the distance. Okay, and we use a distance formula. Okay, so this distance formula D is given by square root, okay, the difference of x coordinate x2 minus x1 is square, the difference of x coordinate is square, plus difference of y coordinate y2 minus y1 square. So this is the distance formula. Okay, we can use this formula to find the distance between any 2 points. Okay, so you have the square root, radical sign, and the difference of x coordinate. So you have the square of difference of x coordinate plus square of difference of y coordinate. It gives us the distance between any 2 points. Okay. Okay, and the next we have a, now once we have a line, okay, now we try to find the coordinate of a midpoint, the middle point of a line. Okay, so let's take, we have a line. So let's consider we have a line here. Okay, so let me take, we have a line. It can be any line. Okay, it can be a non-vertical or a vertical line or a horizontal line. It can be any line. Okay, and let me call this is line PQ. Let me take the same line PQ. Okay, so the P has a coordinate x1, y1. Q has a coordinate x2, y2. Now we are interested at finding the position of midpoint. Now what is the midpoint? It's the middle point. Okay, so we are looking at the position of middle point for this line PQ. So let's take, okay, now let's consider we have this point. This is the middle point. Okay, let me call this is M. And what does the middle point does for the line? It divides the line into 2 equal parts, right? So middle point is the midpoint, is a point that divides your line into 2 equal parts. So here M, this point M divides PQ into 2 equal parts. That's the midpoint, that's the middle point. Okay, and we are interested in finding the position of this middle point. Okay, we need to find the coordinate of this middle point. So, and this coordinate of middle point M, okay, this is given by, okay, just let me write it here. So M is the coordinate of middle point, and this is given by, let me call the middle point is xy, and this is the average of x coordinate. Okay, this x of a middle point is the average of x coordinate. And how do we find the average? So we have a x1 and x2. How do we find the average of x1 and x2? And divide by 2, right? So the x coordinate of middle point is average of x coordinate. So we have average of x1 and x2 is x1 plus x2 divided by 2. Okay, and the y coordinate of midpoint is the average of y coordinates. So our y coordinates are y1 and y2. Now we find the average of y1 and y2, that is y1 plus y2 divided by 2, and this gives us the location of middle point. This gives us the position of our middle point. Okay, so with this, so with the middle point we can find the position of a midpoint, and with the distance formula we find the distance between any 2 points. Now let's use this in our example here. So we need to find the distance between points. So we have a 3, -5 and 6, 1. We need to find the distance between these 2 points, and we also need to find the midpoint of the line segment joining these 2 points, okay, in part B. Okay, so we have a point 3, -5. Okay, so we have 3, -5. Let's consider this is our 3, -5, and we have a 6, 1 point here. Okay, the first thing we are trying to find the distance between these 2 points. We need to find this length. Okay, so let me call this point is A and this point is B. So our A is 3, -5, point B is 6, 1. In number A, we have to find how far these 2 points are, and we use a distance formula. Okay, so before that, let's call our first point is x1, y1. So let's call our first point is x1, y1, and second point is x2, y2. Okay, or you can just call point A as x2, y2 and point B as x1, y1. It does not matter, you end up getting same. So once we compare, what is our x1 here? X1 is 3, right? So x1 is 3. What is y1? -5. X2 is 6. Y2 is 1. Now we substitute x1, y1, x2, y2 in our distance formula. Okay, so our distance formula D is square root x2 minus x1, the square of difference of x coordinate plus square of difference of y coordinate. Now we substitute this number here. Our x2 is 6, we have a square root here. Our x2 is 6, we have negative. X1 is 3, we have a square, plus our y2 is 1, negative. Y1 is -5, so we have -5, and we have a square. The square of difference of x coordinate plus square of difference of y coordinate. Now let's simplify this. So we have square root 6 minus 3, that is 3. 3 square is 9, plus, so 1 negative -5. What is that? Positive 6. 6 square is 36. And 9 plus 36 is 45. Okay, so distance is square root of 45 units. So this is the distance between these 2 points A and B. Now the next, in number B, we have to find the middle point for the line segment. So we have a line AB. Okay, if we connect A point and a B point, we get a line. Okay, now we are interested in finding the middle point. We are interested in locating the middle point for this line segment. Okay, so in order to find the midpoint, so let's call that middle point is MXY. So this is for B. Okay, so MXY, that is the midpoint, that is the middle point for this line segment AB. Now the x coordinate of midpoint is average of x coordinate, so that is x1 plus x2 divided by 2, and the y coordinate is average of y coordinate, y1 plus y2 divided by 2. So this is a coordinate. Okay, this is a point here. Now let's substitute. Our x1 is 3, x2 is 6, so we have 3 plus 6 divided by 2. Our y1 is -5 and y2 is 1 divided by 2. So we have 3 plus 6, 9 divided by 2, that is 4.5, or you can just have 9/2. -5 plus 1, that is -4. -4 divided by 2 is -2. So this is the midpoint. So the middle point for this line segment is at 4.5, -2. Okay, so the midpoint give us the location of middle point of this line segment. Okay, any question on this one? Now let's go to the next here. Okay, now let me take any point. Okay, let me take a point C. So I have a point C. Okay, now if I move around this point C at a fixed distance, Okay, so if we move around this point C, okay, this C is a fixed here. Okay, now let me take the other point. Let me take this point P here. Okay, and this point P is at a distance R. Let me call the distance is R. So we have a point C. C is a fixed point. Okay, and we have a point P. Okay, that is not fixed, and point P is at a distance R distance from this fixed point. So C is fixed. Okay, C is fixed, P is not fixed, and the distance between point P and point C is R. Now if we move point P, okay, with a same distance R from point C, what kind of picture do we get? What kind of figure do we get? So let me move this point to this point. The distance has to be R. Okay, the distance between this point and C has to be R. Okay, let me move to the next point. The distance has to be R. Okay, so if you move this point around the fixed point at the same distance, okay, every time you are moving, the distance of the point with the C has to be same, R. Okay, so if you move maintaining the same distance with a fixed point, okay, so you maintain the same distance. This is R distance, this is R distance. Okay, this is R distance. So we are here, so R distance, okay, R distance and R distance. Okay, so if you move a point around a fixed point at the same distance, the distance has to be same. What kind of figure we get? We get a circle, right? So we have a circle here. So we have a circle, okay, and the circle has the fixed point. And what do we call this point for a circle? Center of a circle. Okay, we represent the center of a circle by C. Okay, now this is a point. It has a coordinate. Okay, the center of a circle is a 1 point, and it has a x coordinate, y coordinate. And let's call the center of a circle, the coordinate of a center of a circle, as a HK. So here the x coordinate is H and the y coordinate is K. So we have a center C, okay, with the x coordinate H and the y coordinate K. So HK is the center of a circle. Okay, so we use HK to represent a center of a circle in general, but you can call any, or you can just call it AB, but you have to define that AB is the center of your circle. Okay, but if we go like in general, HK is used as a coordinate for a center of a circle. Okay, so we have this center HK for this circle. Now what do we call a distance of a point on the circle to the center? So what do we call this distance? We call it radius, right? And we represent this by R. So R is the radius of a circle. So it's a distance of a distance from circumference to the center. Okay, now if we have a center HK and the radius R, we can find the equation of a circle. Okay, and the equation of a circle is given by, so for any circle with a center HK and a radius R has an equation of the type x minus h square plus y minus k square equals to r square. So you have a circle, and circle has a center, circle has a radius. And if you have a circle, center and a radius of a circle, we can find the equation for that circle. Okay, and the standard equation for the circle is x minus h square plus y minus k square equals to r square. So this is the equation of a circle. But we need to know the center of a circle. We need to know the radius of a circle. Then only we can find a equation here. Okay. Now let's take a. Now what happens if the center is at origin? So what does it mean by center at origin? The coordinate of center is 0, 0, right? Origin has a coordinate 0, 0. And if your center is at origin, it means your center CHK. So your center is CHK, and if this center is at origin, it means your x coordinate is 0, k is 0, and if you substitute h and k 0 in this equation, what do we get? We have x minus 0 square plus y minus k is 0 square equals to r square. X minus 0 is x, and square we have x square plus y square equals to r square. So this is the equation of a circle with a center at origin. Okay, having center at origin means the coordinate of center is 0, 0. Okay, but if you know this one, the standard equation of a circle, you can find this one. Okay, so we need to know the center of a circle. Center of a circle is HK. Okay, we need to know the radius of a circle, and once we have the center and a radius, we can find the equation of any circle with the help of this standard equation of the circle. X minus h is square plus y minus k square equals to r square. Okay, now let's use this here in our example. Okay, so here, so we have to write the standard form of the equation of the circle with a center at 3, negative 2. So we have a center of a circle, and this is 3, negative 2. Okay, this is the center of a circle, and radius is 5. Okay, so we have the radius of a circle is 5. So we have this circle, and this radius is 5. So r is 5. Okay, so this is the center C, which is 3 at 3, negative 2 is the center, 5 is the radius. Now how do we represent a center? So what is our center? Center is HK. Okay, so here our center is HK in general. Okay, and this is given us as 3, negative 2. So the coordinate of center is given as 3, negative 2. Now if we compare HK and 3, negative 2, can we find what are h and k here? So if we make a comparison of these two, what is our h? H is the x coordinate is 3, and k is the y coordinate, which is negative 2. Okay, so if we compare, our h is 3, k is negative 2, and the radius is given us as a 5, so our r is 5. So we know h, we know k, and we know r. Now we substitute our h, k, and r in our standard form of standard equation of the circle. So we substitute here. Okay, so the standard equation is x minus h square plus y minus k square equals to r square. So this is the standard form of the equation. Now we do not substitute for x and y. Okay, only h, k, and r. So x and y, it represents every point on the circle. Okay, so let's make a substitution. So we have x as it is, our h is 3, so we have 3 square plus y minus k is minus 2 square equals to r. Our r is 5, and we have a square. Now let's simplify. So we have x minus 3 square as it is, plus we have y negative times negative 2. This is positive 2, right? So we have y plus 2 square equals to 5 square is 25. And this is our final answer, okay? Because it tells us to write the standard form, okay, which is the standard form. So x minus 3 square plus y plus 2 square equals to 25. So this is the equation of a circle with a center at 3, negative 2, and a radius 5. So this is the standard form. So if you write your equation in this form, x minus h square plus y minus k square equals to r square, that is the standard form. But if you simplify this equation, you get the general form of the circle. Okay, so that's the next topic. Now if we simplify x minus 3 square plus y plus 2 square equals to 25, we get the general form. Okay, Now so let me just simplify this one. So here I have x minus 3 square plus y plus 2 square equals to 25. So this is the standard form of an equation of a circle. Now if we get rid of this square and simplify, we get the general form of equation of a circle. Now, so what is x minus 3 square equals to? So, okay, am I correct if I do this? Is x square minus 3 square is 9 plus y square is y square plus 2 square is 4 equals to 25. Is this correct? So x minus 3 square is x square minus 9 and y plus 2 square is y square plus 4 equals to 25. And this is incorrect, okay? I found some of you doing this one. No, this is incorrect, okay? You can't do this one, okay? So this is wrong here. Now here, so we have x minus 3 square. What does that mean? So what does it mean by x minus 3 square? So we have a x minus 3 2 times, okay? So you are writing x minus 3 2 times. So you have x minus 3, okay? Plus y plus 2 square is, you have y plus 2 2 times. You have y plus 2 times y plus 2 equals 25. Okay? So you do not give square for each expression. So x minus 3 square means x minus 3 is 2 times. So you have x minus 3 times x minus 3. Now we have a binomial here. So x is one term, negative 3 is other term. So we have a binomial times binomial. And if we have a binomial times binomial, we use FOIL. Okay. Now let's use FOIL method here. So using FOIL, we multiply the first terms. X is the first term. X times x is x square. Okay. Then we multiply outside term. So our x and negative 3. Outside term x times negative 3, that is negative 3x. Then we multiply the inside terms. So our inside terms are negative 3 and positive x. Negative 3 times positive x is negative 3x. Then at the last we multiply last terms, and the last term is negative 3, negative 3. And negative 3 times negative 3 is positive 9. Okay. In the similar way, you use FOIL to multiply x plus y plus 2 and y plus 2. So our first term is y and y. So y times y is y square. We multiply outside terms, y times 2, that is 2y. We multiply inside terms, 2 and y, that is 2y. And we multiply last term, 2 and 2, that is 4, equals to 25. Okay, now we look for the like terms here. Now do we have any like terms? So we have negative 3x like terms. We have 2y like terms. We have 9, 4 like terms. Now let's simplify this. So we have x square, negative 3x, that is negative 6x. Okay. Then we have y square, 2y plus 2y, that is 4y. Okay. Then we have 4 plus 9, that is 13, equals 25. Now do we have any more like terms? So we have, do we have any more like terms? So we have 13 and 25. These two are like terms, right? So 13 and 25. These two are like terms. So let's make right side equals to 0. So we subtract 25 on both sides, because these two are like terms here. So we have, so let me write x square, then let me write down y square second, then next 6x positive 4y, negative 25 plus 13, that is negative 12 equals to 0. Again, this is the general equation for the circle. Okay, and these two are the same thing. Okay, so this circle, this is the circle, and this circle, these two are the same equation. They gave us the same circle. Okay, these two are not different. The difference is there, their form is different. We use a different form. Okay, so if we have x minus 3 square plus y minus 2 square, so y plus 2 square equals to 25, this is the standard form. Okay, and if you have x square plus y square minus 6x plus 4y minus 12 equals to 0, this is the general form. And both of these equations, they are the same circle. It's a one circle with a equation of a two different form. But when we plot a picture, we get the same circle. Okay, do not get confused. Okay, now so here we have an example. It tells us to write the equation of a circle. Okay, in a standard form, find the coordinate of the center of the circle and find its radius, sketch the circle. Okay, so let me write what is given to us. So we are given here this equation of a circle. So we are given x square plus y square plus 8x minus 2y minus 8 equals to 0. Now at first, what kind of equation is given to us? Is this the general form or the standard form? General. This is the general form. Okay, now we have to write in the standard form. Now let's see. So writing in a standard form means we must have x minus some number whole square plus y minus some number whole square equals to r square. This is what we want. Okay, so this is the standard form. So x minus h square plus y minus k square equals to r square. So this is what we want. Okay, now so how can we rewrite this general into a standard form? So what we do here is that we collect the same variable terms together, okay, and we take the constant on the other side. That's the very first thing. Okay, so here we have x square and positive 8x. They have a same variable, so let's collect these two together. So we have x square plus 8x. Okay, next we have y square and negative 2y. We have these two with the same variable, so we collect these two together. So we have plus y square negative 2y. Okay, you collect the term with the same variable together. Now negative 8 is a constant. Okay, and we take the constant on the other side. It means we get rid of negative 8 from the left side, and for that how do? We add 8 on both sides. Okay, so this negative 8 positive 8 is 0, and we have equals to 0 plus 8 8. So this is the first step. You are collecting the term with the same variable together and taking the constant on the other side. Okay, now let's compare. So let's compare these two here. So what differences do we find this standard form and this general form here? So in the standard form, we have the square of binomial. So this is the binomial, right? We have the square of binomial, and we have the square of binomial. Okay, and we have a r square. R is a radius. Now, how can we rewrite as a square of a binomial? So this is what we have. We have x square plus 8x. Now, how can we rewrite this as a square of a binomial? We want to write, we need to have something like x minus h and a whole square. This is what we want. So we are writing as a square of binomial. And that's what we did when we solve our quadratic equation using a completing square method. Okay, so we had a completing the square method. Okay, in one of the steps we had to write as a square of a binomial. Okay, now it's pretty similar. So what we do here is that, so we take the coefficient of x, this is 8, we divide by 2, we square it, okay, add that number on both sides. So we have a x square as it is. So we take the coefficient of x, which is 8, you divide by 2, we get 4, right? You square it and you add these two number on both sides. So you are adding, so we have 8x as it is. So you are adding 4 square on a both side. So you are adding on a both side. Okay. Now this help us to write the square of binomial for x variable. Now we have to do the same thing for the y variables. Do you have any question with this one, this part or not, this portion? What we did, we take the coefficient of x, which is 8, okay, then we divide it by 2, that give us 4, then we square and we add this 4 square on a both sides. So we are adding 4 square on a both side. Okay, now let's do the same thing for y. We take the coefficient of y, which is 2, you take the coefficient of y, which is 2, you divide by 2, what we get? We get 1, we square it and we add this number on a both sides. So let's add 1 square on a both side. So let me write y square as it is, okay, negative 2 as it is, and we are adding 1 square on a both side. We have equals to 8. That's what we have on the right side. You take the coefficient, so we need to do 2 times. You take the coefficient of x, divide by 2, we square it, add on a both side. Okay, now the next, you take the coefficient of y, you divide by 2, you square it, add on a both side. Now here these 3, okay, so these 3 make a square of a binomial, these 3 make a square of a binomial. Okay, now we write this trinomial as a square of a binomial. So for that we take x from here, okay, so we take x from x square, we do not take square, okay, then we take 4 from here, we are not taking square, okay, then we take the sign of middle term, so our sign is positive, so we take this sign, we have positive and we're gonna add parentheses and a square. So this is the square of a binomial. We do the same thing for the remaining 3 terms. So you take y from here, okay, you are excluding square, okay, you are not taking square, you take y, then you take 1 from the last square term, okay, you take the sign of middle term, so the sign of middle term is negative, so we're gonna take this negative sign and parentheses and square. So we have positive here, so this positive is as it is, okay, equals to, so what do we have on the right side? We have 8, 4 square is 16, 1 square is 1. So we had a trinomial and we write as a square of a binomial. See, we have a square and we have a binomial. We have a square and we have a binomial. Now let me rewrite this. So we have x plus 4 square plus y minus 1 square equals to 8 plus 16, 24 plus 1, 25. Now is this in a standard form? Now if we compare, so let me rewrite the standard form. So we have our standard form here. So our standard form should be of the type x minus h square plus y minus k square equals to r square. So this is the standard form. Now let's compare our standard form with the one that we have here. So for x, we have x. Now in the standard form there is a negative, but we have a positive here, so still it's not the same. Now how can we write this? How can we have a negative? Minus negative 4, right? Okay, now here, so we can rewrite x plus 4, so we have x and plus 4 is same as minus time minus 4, right? Do you agree? Plus 4 is minus time minus 4, okay. Now now if we compare, for x we have x, for negative we have negative, for h we have negative 4, for square we have square, okay, for plus we have plus here, okay, for y we have y. So we have y. For minus in the standard form, we have minus here. Let me write down here minus. For k, we have 1. So we have 1 for k. And for square, we have square here equals to r square. Now for r square, we have a 25. So we don't have a square here. Now how can we rewrite 25 with in terms of a square? 25 is a 5 square. So here, so we have 5 and square. So if you compare for r, you have 5. For square, you have square. Now this is the standard form. Now once you have this standard form, can you tell me what is the center of this circle is? What is the center of this circle is? Center is CHK. So what is H here?
-4.
Do you all agree it's -4? You are comparing this equation with the standard form. Okay, so in place of H, we have -4. So -4 is the H. And what do we have for K? So for K, we have +1. It's not a -1, okay? Because for Y, so if you compare, for Y, we have Y. For negative, we have negative. And for K, we have +1. So our K is +1. So the center of this circle is at -4, 1. Now what about the radius of this circle? What is r here? It's a 5, not 25, okay? And if you compare, for square, we have square. For r, we have 5. So radius is 5. So this is how, like, once we have the general equation, we can find the center and the radius of a circle, okay? And it's a lot here. So the major, very key step is writing as a square of binomial, okay? So these steps is key here. So it's writing these 2 steps. Okay, let's do one. Let's do one more, okay? So let me. Okay. Or let's do this one. So let's do number 2. I don't have a book here, but we can do number 2. So here we have, okay, y square, is it y square plus x equals to 0? This is, okay, now is this a circle? This is not a circle. Okay, now if we check, okay, if we go back, so our circle has to be of the type x minus h square plus y minus k square equals to r square. You must have a x with a square, okay, you must have a y with a square, then only it is the equation of a circle, okay? Our y is square, but x is not, x does not has a degree too, so this is not an equation of a circle. Does anyone have a book here? Have you carried book? Let me take example from your book. Has anyone carried book? Can you? Okay, let me take an example and we'll do one more very similar to this one. Okay, so let's take, okay, we can, okay, we don't need this number 2 here, so let me add one more. Okay, this is 51 from your book, okay, number 51, and it does tell us to find the center radius of the circle. So equation is x square plus y square negative 6x negative 4y negative 5 equals to 0. Okay, so we are asked to write down the center of a circle, radius of a circle. This is 51 from section 2.2. Okay, the first step, we are collecting the term with a x together, collecting the terms with a y together, and taking the constant on the other side. So we have 3 things. So let's collect the terms having variable x together. So we have x square and negative 6x. They both have a same variable, so we collect these together. So we have x square negative 6x together. Okay, next we have we have positive y square and negative 4y. They both have a same variable, so we collect these two together. So we have y square negative 4y, and the constant is negative 5. So we get rid of constant from left side. And how do we do that? We add 5 on both sides. So we add 5 on both sides. So this negative 5, positive 5 cancel, and we have positive 5 on the right side. Do you have any question up to here? You collect the terms with x together, you collect the terms with y together, take the constant other side. Okay, now once we have this, we have to write as a square of a binomial. Okay, now the next thing, so let me write the terms with the x variable at first. We have x squared negative 6x. Now we need to find a number to add on both sides. Okay, for that we take the coefficient of x. You ignore sign, it does not matter it's positive or negative. Okay, we take the coefficient of x, 6, you divide by 2, we get 3, and you square it and add this number on both sides. Okay, you take the coefficient of x, you divide by 2, you square it and you add on both sides. So we are adding 3 square. So we are adding 3 square on both sides. Now let's do the same thing for the y variables. So let me write, we already have y square as it is, negative 4 as it is, and we need to find a number to add on both sides. Now what number do we add on both sides for this case? You take the coefficient of y, okay, which is 4. You take the coefficient of y, which is 4, you divide by 2, we get 2. You square it and you add this number on both sides. So you are adding 2 square on both sides. Okay, then we have equals, this equals to as it is, and 5 as it is on the right side. Get any question here? Okay, now we have this trinomial. Okay, we write this trinomial as a perfect square, and we have this trinomial, we write this trinomial as a perfect square. Okay, so you take x from here, you take 3 from here, you take the sign of the middle term, which is negative, parenthesis close, and you have a square. Then you have this plus as it is. Okay, now you take y as it is, you take 2 from here, and you take this sign, the sign of middle term y, negative, parenthesis, square equals to, you simplify right side. So we have 5, 3 square is 9, plus 2 square is 4. Let me know if you have any question up to here. Now let's simplify on the right side. 5 plus 9, 14 plus 4, that is 18. So let me rewrite this one more time. So we have x minus 3 square plus y minus 2 square equals to 18. What is our standard form of a circle? That is x minus, our standard form is x minus h square plus y minus k square equals to r square. Now let's make a comparison. So for x, what do we have? We have x. Okay, for negative we have negative. For h, what do we have? Is it positive 3 or negative 3? Positive 3, so we have 3. Okay, for y we have y, for positive we have positive, for negative we have negative, for k we have 2, for square we have square here, for square we have square here. Okay, equals to. Now here we have a 18. Now how do we write 18 as a perfect square? Square of what number is 18? Okay, now whatever, if I rewrite 18 as a square root of 18, is it 18? Square of square root of 18 is 18. Do you agree? Are these two numbers same? 18 and a square root of 18 is the same thing? They are same, right? Because if you can cancel this square and the radical sign and we get the 18. So for square we have square, and for r we have square root of 18. So after comparison, our center of a circle HK, what is H? H is 3. What is K? That is 2. Okay, and the radius R is square root of 18. And this is how we can find the center and the radius of a circle. Okay, and you do have a homework pretty similar, and like once you do your homework you should feel better. And if you still need help, please let me know. Okay, so let's do this much.